Alright, what's going on YouTube? We're back at the shop again today. We got some more Hondata tuning to do on the EG hatch V16A swap. Basically, I just have to set the engine's timing, the ignition timing at 16 degrees, and then I have to wire in a wideband and set the lambda voltage to air fuel to make sure they read and it can replace a stock O2 and actually run. I'm not doing that today. I don't have a timing gun with me today, and I don't have the AFR gauge I need. So that's kind of the next steps before it hits the dyno. But today it's on the stock O2 sensor with the stock V16A Del Sol base map. And I'm gonna go ahead and configure launch control on this thing and try it out. It's winter time and we're in the shop, which is very residential. And two-step makes your engine very hot, and I can't take this car out and drive it up and down the alley to cool it off. And it's not that cold outside anymore, so it's gonna be just not a lot of two-step, but I wanna get it set up and I wanna hear it work. Also, I wanna let the car idle and get to operating temperature, because when we started it up last video, which if you haven't seen, there's probably a card up in the corner. Click that now and go watch the last video of us installing the Hondata in this and getting it set up for the first time. But it didn't even get to operating temperature during that video and just kept getting shut off. And with it sitting in the winter so long, condensation will build up inside the motor, yada, yada, yada. It's not great. So I'd like to get it to operating temperature today. But as you can see, the shop is very filled and there's no way to 180 this car around so the ass end is by the bay door, because outside of my driveway it is pure ice. Like right out there where the Accord is parked, it's pure ice. I just drove the Accord through this bay door because I hit the brakes. I was going like 5 kilometers an hour. I hit the brakes and it just slid. It just slid. It didn't even slow down at all. It is pure ice out there, so I can't shuffle anything around. I can't 180 this car while it's in the garage with this trailer and all the crap that we have. We need to do another major clean. So the exhaust is obviously right here, and we're just gonna try to get it to send out the door there. Hopefully we don't get too funny feeling in here, because to get this thing to operating temp to do two-step, it's gonna have to be running for a goddamn minute and a half. So without further ado, let's plug the laptop in. Let's fire this thing up, see what happens, baby. Let's get this laptop booted up. ECU's right here. Gonna go ahead and plug it into the laptop, open up Hondata, get the live data logging going, and then we're gonna go ahead and set up two-step, get this thing idling up to operating temp, and see what happens. Okay, so we got the ECU here and the laptop. It's flashing red again for some reason. Has encountered a problem. We're sorry for the inconvenience. Huh, I wonder why.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so it does fire everything up still. Oh, it's green now, so that's good. Let's fire this up. Boom, there we go. We're gonna start the data log. Kira's got that open. There we go. Okay boys, so this thing's kind of loud, but I got my tables up here. I just had to open up my old map. I'm still learning. We're still getting after it. I did add my engine coolant temperature in here. It's 125 Fahrenheit. My gauge is still stuck on 40 degrees Celsius. So I don't know about all that. But the heat gauge hasn't quite moved off yet. And I think when we go over here to parameters, I think when we go to, where is it here? Launch control. Oh, if we go always on, maximum speed we're probably gonna put at like 2 miles an hour. And then this will leave there, but activation we'll put down to 4,000. And we're gonna leave that off. Burnout rev limiter off. It doesn't give me a temperature it needs to reach that though, so we're just gonna let it warm up, and then I think we're gonna just do that. So I'll probably have to shut it off, put it into accessory, hit upload ECU right there, and then the launch control should work at about 4,000 RPM. Hell, I might even just, to start, I might even just do like 3,000 and then put this at like 3,500. because that fluctuation of 500 is how much it's going to bounce when it's doing the two-step. It's going to activate at 3 and it's going to limit at 35, so it's going to spark at 3 and limit at 35 and bounce in between there. This isn't boosted, this is NA, so it's not going to make any boost, it's not going to do any crazy shit, but we have it set to always on 2 mile an hour, 3,500 RPM launch limiter, and 3,000 activation. I'm not messing with any fuel enrichment or ignition timing. That's for the tuner. I'm just getting this set up really as best as I can for just this two-step here. We can start the data log and see what's going on. So now we're at 142. And the gauge is starting to move there. So I'll get back to you when everything's warm. Okay, so we're at 153, so I'm just gonna shut the car off. I'm going to turn it into accessory. And I'm going to update changes to the ECU here. There we go, yeah, that worked. Okay, so turn it back on. Okay. And now that that is done, give it a couple revs, just ring, ring. Okay, we're gonna data log again here. Error code, so we're at 156 now. Yeah, it's not quite up to temp yet, so it's probably not gonna do it just quite yet, but we'll get there, we'll get there. We're at 158 now, so we do have an error code. It's just the knock sensor because that's not wired in, but that's okay. Everything should be good there. I don't know why it set the top value back up to 47, but who knows. Boys, how cool is this shit? We got the laptop on the roof, the Honda's running well. We're tuning away. This is so sweet, I love this. I hope the launch control works, we'll see. It's set to 3,000, so just pin it to the floor, and once it reaches past like 3,500, let go if it doesn't start two-stepping.
Absolutely pin it?
Yeah, like floor it, like smash it all the way to the floor, and if it goes past 3,000 and doesn't start two-stepping, then let off.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
Give her. Did it go past 3,000?
Yeah, it did.
It did?
Yeah.
Do it again.
Huh. Okay, ready?
Okay. Yeah. It works.
It works.
It works, baby. Woo! Nice. Okay, we're working, boys. We're working. The Civic just puked everywhere.
Oh shit.
Here we go, boys. Ready? That's so sick. This thing's straight up two-stepping right now. We need to bump up the RPM to get that thing spitting harder, but holy shit, boys. Okay, I'm bumping this up 1,000 RPM. She's gonna get videos. Well, there you have it. I just bumped up the RPM from 3,000 to 3,500, and then I bumped it up 1,000 RPM overall to activate at 4,000 and bump to 4,500, and it was a lot more rowdy. This is so sick. I can't wait to get the base timing set into wire in the AFR gauge and then take this thing to the dyno just to kind of, it's just a stock B16, right, with some bolt-ons, so it's just gonna run healthier with the intake in the exhaust versus the factory intake in the exhaust. In fact, it's probably down on power from factory with the massive intake and the very free-flowing exhaust. So we're just gonna get tuned a little bit so it can accept that big, huge carbon intake we have and our exhaust, and just run smoother. And then we're gonna get the two-step obviously set up a lot smoother, and the car's just gonna run better overall. It's not gonna make any crazy big power. We're not supercharging, we're not turboing it for now. We're not taking the B16 out and building a high compression NA motor, because that costs twice the amount that a turbo kit or a supercharger kit does, and you get half the horsepower out of it. I'd love to build an NA car, but when I can just buy a $1,000 turbo kit, now that I have the Hondata, strap it on, take it to the dyno, and make 300 plus horsepower, why would I spend 10 grand building the B16 to make 250 NA? You know what I mean? So for now we're gonna do that, take it to the dyno, get it tuned for the intake exhaust, maybe a little bit of fueling that we have done to this thing. It's gonna run like a top, two-step's gonna be hitting hard, and we're gonna do a lot of rowdy videos this year. I'd like to get some new axles because mine's clunking, they're buckling. I'd like to get some insane shafts and hopefully a short gear ratio transmission with an LSD like the GSR transmission, because right now I just have 2 LS transmissions which are long gear ratio, no LSD. So if I do a burnout, it's gonna be a 1-wheel peel. It might transfer over to the second wheel if we can get it going rowdy enough, but I want the long gear ratios gone. I want an LSD in there and a tune, and this thing's gonna be mad spicy. It's still winter, gross and shitty outside, which is why you haven't been seeing weekly or bi-weekly Brash Garage videos, and they're kind of one every 2 weeks. There's just not much I can do sitting in this cramped shop. Like, I can't even open my door anymore before it smokes the trailer. It's pure ice outside, like literally pure ice, and it's just wet and gross. There's still a bunch of salt and sand all over the roads from the heavy snowfall and the snowplow trucks going by, and this hatch is rust free and completely clean. So I don't want to do that. So that's why the videos are a bit more dull. But when we can get the AFR gauge as well as the base timing done and take this thing out to the dyno come the springtime, videos are gonna be popping, I promise you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. You guys know what's coming next for this car. If you think that's exciting and you want to stick around for more, be sure to drop a subscription right now. Turn those notifications on so you don't miss when we're uploading next. Right now it's about a 1 upload every 2 weeks just because it's winter. In the summer we do like multiple times a week uploads across all socials for this stuff. But for right now, I just installed two-step and you heard it light up. I couldn't be more stoked on that. I've owned this car for 5 years and it's one of the only cars I've ever owned that doesn't have a launch controller two-step, but now it does. And you already know it's good for show, but you already know we're gonna be using it to actually launch the thing. That's gonna be coming later on in the summer. So if you guys are excited for any of that, subscribe again right now. Hit the like, turn the notifications on. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.